All righty. Good evening, everyone. The time is upon us to start. And so we want to start off by celebrating May Week. And so in just a minute, Miss Kyla Mitchell is going to tell you what is May Week. But I do want to take the opportunity to tell you who I am, what my role is, and welcome to our webinar. My name is Kimberly Smith. I am a member of the Jackson Miss Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and I will serve as your moderator for tonight. But I would like to welcome everyone here tonight, all of our members, our community, and if we have any young people on the line, thank you for tuning in. And so, without further ado, because we have a lengthy agenda for tonight, and we want everyone to really engage with us, we're going to turn it over right now to Miss Kyla Mitchell, and she's going to talk about what is May Week.
Okay. Thank you for Kimberly Smith. Good evening, everyone. I am Kyla Mitchell, May Week Committee Chair. I will discuss the May Week initiatives and the vision of the May Week activities. May Week is typically a week-long event and national program of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. May Week was started in 1920. It focuses on academic and professional achievements and emphasizes the importance of higher education. May Week activities are often designed to promote the sorority's 5-point programmatic thrust. Several aspects are facilitated during the May Week activities. Academic and professional achievement. May Week highlights individuals and celebrates both the sorority as a whole. Higher education. Program emphasizes the value of education, encourages further learning. Community engagement. May Week events often involve outreach and service within the community. And of course, that 5-point programmatic thrust, our activities often align with the sorority's 5 key areas of focus. One being the physical and mental health component. This thrust focuses on promoting healthy lifestyles, educating individuals about the importance of physical and mental well-being, developing health-focused programs for the benefit of the community. Economic development. This thrust focuses on economic empowerment and the stability through programs like financial literacy, entrepreneurship initiatives, and advocacy for economic policies that benefit underserved communities. International awareness and involvement. This thrust highlights Delta Sigma Theta's rich history of international involvement, focusing on addressing global issues and supporting communities in need through programs that address social and economic challenges. Political awareness and involvement, which is regarded as social action. This thrust emphasizes the importance of the political participation, advocacy, promoting voter registration, education, and mobilization to ensure communities have a voice in the political process. And lastly, educational development. This thrust emphasizes scholastic achievement, service learning, college preparation, and scholarship programs to support the educational advancement of students. We value May Week and look forward to planning endeavors for the sorority, our chapter, and the communities that we serve. As the May Week Committee Chair, we thank you for being a part of our 2025 initial May Week event. We hope you enjoy the webinar and can utilize the resources that will be provided to you today. Thank you and enjoy.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell, for letting the community know, everyone know, what is the purpose of May Week and why is it so important, not only to our sorority, but also to the community, because we bring in various speakers and have great activities to really engage and make our community aware of what's out there to better succeed. And so tonight we want to indulge you for just a little while with educational speakers from Jackson State University, Mississippi College, Hines Community College, Get to College, Chase Bank. And so we're going to start off again without further ado. And as we get to each section, I will be introducing those speakers for that particular section. So for tonight, our first speaker for the educational development from Jackson State University, we have Miss Shandell Lewis. Miss Shandell Lewis is the first GEN Scholars Coordinator at Jackson State University, where she supports and empowers first generation college students through advocacy, programming, and mentorship. She's a licensed school counselor, a product of a first generation college graduate. Shandell spent the first 5 years serving as a school counselor before transitioning into higher education. She holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology from Tougaloo College and a master's in education and counseling education from the University of Mississippi. In addition to her work in education, Shandea is an entrepreneur and the owner of a Touch of Magnolia, a Southern-inspired fragrance company. She's a native of Vicksburg, Mississippi, the River City. She brings a holistic and heartfelt approach to student success grounded in her roots, lived experience, and with a deep commitment to helping students thrive. Shandell is also one of our Greek sisters. She's a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And without further ado, we would like to welcome Shandell to the platform at this time. Take it away, Miss Lewis.
Thank you. I'm going to share my screen and we can go ahead and get started. All right. Can you guys see it okay? Perfect. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for that introduction. It's always kind of fun to hear a little bit about my own journey. Even though I wrote the bio, it doesn't seem like I've been working for that long. So time flies. But I am going to be kind of discussing from high school to higher ed and just some of the key points that I think you really need to know. And like I was just introduced, I just kind of want to briefly highlight the impact of my experience serving in education. So I currently serve as the first gen scholars coordinator at Jackson State University. And long story short, I help students transition. We've all done something for the first time. And a lot of my students, or all of my students, are the first in their families to go to college. So I help them navigate Jackson State University. I serve as a university success instructor. So I also have the privilege of teaching my students that are in my program, but I also taught FYE at Mississippi State University. And that was just an introductory course to make sure students were acclimated to college. I served in high school primarily as a school counselor. So I'm very familiar with the transition from high school to college. I always tell my students, I feel like I transitioned with them. And I was a student success coordinator at Mississippi State University where I worked in advising. So primarily first year advising. So I was able to speak to the language of my current students about just different advising tips and things that they would need to know in order to best navigate their schedules here at Jackson State. Okay, so something I want you to think about, and I teach this kind of the first day of my university success class. When you think about college, start off asking yourself, how much would you waste? When you get to college or when you get to financial aid, think about turning in a blank check. Or if you went to a car dealership and you gave them a blank check and they said your car is $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, you will want something for your money. Same thing with college. So make sure that you are getting something for the money that you're spending. That's first and foremost. College is not a donation drive. You're paying thousands of dollars to be there, whether it be through financial aid, whether it be through your own personal money that you or someone has sacrificed to save for, or just any personal loans. As we know, the climate of our economy is changing. So at some point you will have to pay that back. So you're paying thousands of dollars. Do not walk away without a return on your investment, because flunking is not free. You only get so many failing grades. You only get so many withdrawal grades before they cut your financial aid off, and you have to turn in what's called what we call a SAP appeal, and we'll get to the language a little bit more a little bit later. But use what you pay for. So you're not just paying to go to class, you're paying for all of these resources that your college has readily available to you, like your advisor. You're paying for tutoring without even knowing it. All of that is lumped into your tuition fees. You're paying for these writing labs that are absolutely free. There are people on your college campuses, there are centers tailored towards your student success, and counseling services. As a student, it's free. especially here at Jackson State University, it's free for you to get counseling services. So make sure you're utilizing all of those resources and you're not just handing the university a blank check and they're walking away with your money and you're walking away with nothing. So that's one of the things I like to hone in on the first day of class. We all like to get something for our money. So if you're spending money on your education, so make sure you get a return on your investment. Okay, so college knowledge is one of my favorite terms. Be gentle with yourself during this process. You're a new learner. The help is there, you just have to ask. Every single day, I'm having conversations with students that are trying to overcome the stigma of asking for help. So the sooner you get kind of that out of your brain and the sooner you learn how to ask for help or who to go to for help, a little bit better off you'll be. College has a language of its own. You just heard me say SAP appeal. You'll hear credit hours, you'll hear tuition, you'll hear other terms that sometimes your advisors or your instructors or people you speak with on college campuses may kind of just throw around, and it's okay to pause them and say, hey, what does that mean? There are a lot of terms that we don't use in the high school setting or the K-12 setting that we do use that are commonly known here on campus. So give yourself a little grace and read the policy. 10 times out of 10, if something's happening on your college campus, be it at community college or for your university, even trade school, somewhere someone has written the rules down, and we call it policy on this end of higher ed. So be it in your syllabus or whether you want to know what the deadline is for something, that's your academic calendar. So it's written down somewhere. Always stop and ask, hey, what's the policy for this? Just so you know how you can operate and which realm you can navigate kind of any issues for. Your advisor is not optional. Make sure you are attending your advising meetings, and your advisor may change throughout your time in college. So it's always really good to know where to find the information for your degree plan. Changes happen often. Make sure you stay connected with your advisor. You want to know who's the best instructor to take for a course. You want to know, hey, I need to make sure I pass this class because it's only offered in the fall. So tips and tricks like that, you learn those little nuggets by sitting down with your advisor or sitting down with your department chair, sitting down with your instructors. Campus equals community. As much as I love to hear that students have a 4.0 or students are doing extremely well academically, college is not just about academics. Make sure you are utilizing the tools and the resources on your community, in your campus community, to get involved and to find your fit. There's so much you can learn through student organizations, through joining clubs, and those leadership skills are extremely valuable. As I said, we just had ambassador interviews. I don't just love to interview students that have just gone to class. You know, I like to hear that students have gotten out, they've served their university, they can help other students navigate different challenges, and you just find your fit. It's not all about studying all the time. You have to have brain breaks. You have to know how you want to give back to your university. So getting involved is just a really, really fun way. And you never know, you could get internships, you can find your new passion. I have some students that have decided to go into higher ed just because they've served through our Student Government Association and they love it so much that they've decided that that's their career trajectory. So getting involved is much, much more than just partying or finding friends. It definitely connects you to your college. Your attendance matters. Go to class. Even if it's an online class, if your instructor is on campus, find some time to carve out and go to their office hours. Do not get dropped for not going to class. That's the easiest way to fail, not going. So we have a policy here at the university where some instructors will drop you if you don't attend so many days into class, or you may fail. So if you're doing all the work and you don't have to go to class, because sometimes that's what happened during COVID, so students kind of got used to that. Well, you still have to attend a certain number of in-person classes. Go to their office hours. You never know what opportunities you could get. You never know what extensions you could get. I've had students to get scholarships just because they went and talked to their instructor that became a department chair or that was sitting in a meeting and heard about an opportunity. So you never know. And also going to class, 9 times out of 10, that instructor is referring to a syllabus, and deadlines are not a suggestion, right? That's where your rules are. That's where your instructor has kind of outlined what your course will look like. So make sure you're attending class to get the best information and put your full self forward. What's your major? Right? You'll hear that a lot. You'll hear people ask you, well, what's your major? What are you studying? Is another way to say that. Don't just enroll in a school blind. I know a lot of times, sometimes in our community, we go to what's familiar, or we'll go to a school just because our cousin graduated from there or our mom graduated from there, and they may not even have your major. So make sure you're asking those questions, you're going on those visits, and you don't just enroll blind just because it was the hottest school on TikTok that week. Make sure you're making informed decisions about actually attending the college that you chose. Switching majors is not a failure. It's strategy. It is strategy. So make sure you're asking those questions with your advisors, and you can catapult yourself forward, especially if you have any dual credit or any technical courses that could help advance you in your prospective major. Just make sure you don't feel overwhelmed with the decision to actually select a major. Sometimes universities have general studies programs. You might want a data major for a little bit before you lock in. It's best to know, looking ahead at your degree map ahead of time. So if you're not good at math or you're not good at science, engineering probably is not the best route for you. Asking those questions, sitting down and looking ahead, not just what you have in front of you, or not just what you have for that semester. You want to know, hey, do I have to go to summer school if I'm in this major? How much funding do you have? What does that leeway look like? And my last tip about what your major is, your major doesn't lock in your life. So my undergraduate degree was in psychology. My master's is in counseling, and now I'm in higher education. When I was coming up in undergrad, my job didn't really exist. Like, it's newer. So think about those things. Some of the things that you may want to do may not even exist yet. So make sure you're exploring the thought of possibly getting a minor. You're going on internships. You're doing all you can to kind of diversify your resume to make sure that you're setting yourself up for some of the things later on in life. So I wanted to briefly touch on academic accommodations just because I am coming from a K-12 space. Just because you have a 504 or an IEP does not automatically mean that you'll get accommodations in the higher education realm. It looks a little different on this side. And my biggest tip to you is to make sure that you're connecting with whatever disability support services that college or university has to offer before the first day of class, just to make sure you understand what support they offer. And if you have a 504 or an IEP, before you leave, just like you get a final copy of your transcript, make sure you ask for a copy of a 504 or an IEP, just in case you have to submit any actual documentation to that office, you'll already have it on hand. And just some final gems as I wrap up, be nosy about your journey. Like I said, advisors change, instructors change. We have switches in department chairs all the time, and things shift. Ask questions, read the fine print, and be open to feedback as you ask those questions. I get it. I have family members that have gone to universities for years and years and years, but things change. So don't just rely on what you or your family may know. Make sure you're actively involved in your own journey, because it's your journey. So don't just aimlessly wander through it. Don't let anybody just tell you, hey, well, these are the classes you have to take. This is what you have to do. And you not, be a decision maker in your own process while you're open to that feedback. So make sure that you understand the information that's given to you. Closed mouths do not get fed, or extensions. As an instructor, I want to know what's going on. I love when my students come in for office hours. I love when my students ask questions because that's part of my job. It's not just to give a grade. Speak up if you're struggling or confused. I serve first gen students, but I'm also a first gen graduate. And I lead with that, but if my students don't come in to talk to me, I don't know. We might not have the same journey, but we might have had some of the same struggles, and I can empathize with that, but I can't help what I don't know. So make sure you're opening your mouth. Again, that help seeking behavior, not knowing how to ask for help is something that students deal with every single day on college campuses. Don't ghost your support system, be it back home, be it on campus. I have a lot of students that are kind of one-hit wonders. I see them, they come in with a sob story, and I never see them again. And they come right back in and they say, oh, well, I was just busy, or I was going through this. Even a quick email, especially for students that are out of state, don't disconnect with your support system from back home. If you are going away, make sure you're calling in. All of those things still matter. You will get to a point where you get to your residence hall and you'll look around and it'll be unfamiliar to you. You'll start to feel all the feels, you'll feel all the things. Stay connected. And as you make those connections with people on campus, even if it's just a, hey, I'm just popping in to say, hey, it doesn't always have to be an hour meeting. Make sure you stay connected with those that are pouring back into you. Because time will come when you need a recommendation letter or something like that. So you want to make sure that you're a familiar face. Even if it's an email, just put the effort in for it to be two-sided and you're not just receiving. Check your email. As a high school student, depending on which district you're graduating from, you may or may not have a school email. We will not send any information to your school email. Your admissions office may still be contacting you through your personal email, but as you mature in your college, just matriculate throughout the university, I don't send emails to my students' personal email. Not checking the email or not seeing it is not an excuse on this side. We have way too many students sometimes to even go back and say, hey, I don't know if you're checking or not reading your email. So make sure 9 times out of 10, your university is using an app. Put your email on your phone, just like you get any other notification. And I tell my students, check it 2 to 3 times a day. Check it in the morning because you want to know if class is canceled. Check it at night. Check it before you go. I cannot tell y'all how many times I got emails from students that said, I didn't know class was canceled and I had sent it out the night before. So you don't want to miss any deadlines. You don't want to miss any important information. And I didn't see it in the email. Just, it doesn't really fly on this side. Saying I don't know is okay. Totally okay. You are brand new at this. Again, give yourself some grace. Make sure you are connecting with people. And even if you don't know where to start, it might not be your instructors. It might be your RA. It might be your roommate. It could be a call home. Just make sure you are just actively being honest about kind of where you are in your journey, because you do not get any brownie points for imposter syndrome or just feeling like you're faking it until you make it. You don't get any brownie points for that. And my last tip is that college is hard, but that does not mean you don't belong. It is hard. You're navigating something brand new. Even if you've graduated with dual enrollment credits, even if you have family that's alumni that have been there for years, that's still your first time being on that college campus. You know, it might feel familiar going to football games, but it feels different when you're getting up for class on Monday morning. So make sure you are tapping in with yourself. You're tapping in with those that are pushing you through this process or that will push you through the process, and you are not there by accident. Keep going. A lot of students tell me that they would have finished if they would have just kept going. So make sure you are connected with those resources, and the chapter has my email information, and I'm happy to walk you through anything that I could possibly help with. And if I don't know, I can connect you with someone who can. Thank you.
All right, let's virtually give Ms. Lewis a round of applause. I see the hearts going up. We want to thank her for sharing her knowledge of how to best use your money, because college is expensive, but there are a lot of opportunities there on campus. Don't waste your money. Get something for your money. And as she was talking, ask those questions. The only silly question is the question not asked. So we want to make sure you're asking those questions. I like what she said. Changing your major is not a failure. I changed my major my sophomore year, still graduated on time. I gave the same advice to my daughter. And speaking of being a mom of a college student, sign the permission to allow your parents to help you stay on track. Please do that, because a lot of time we talk about those deadlines. You can't go in and say, I forgot, or I forgot an assignment. They're going to give you a 0 and keep it moving. So again, great tips. We appreciate those gems, Ms. Lewis. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As you all are listening to our speakers, if you have any questions, we do have a Q&A that's going to come at the end. Go ahead and take those notes, jot those things down. So when we have our Q&A, we'll be able to remember what those questions are. All right. So again, thank you, Ms. Lewis, and we appreciate your time. So our next speaker that we have coming in is Dr. Stephanie Carmichael Davis. Okay, it's good. Carmichael. Okay, thank you, thank you. Dr. Stephanie Carmichael Davis, and she's from Mississippi College, my graduate school alum. And so she is a committed advocate for student success. At Xavier University of Louisiana, she worked with peers on their medical school and dental school applications and facilitated summer programs for high school students. After graduating with a bachelor's degree in chemistry, Dr. Carmichael Davis completed her doctorate in biochemistry at Tulane University, winning the Schaefer Award for Excellence in Research. Black Girls Rock. That's what I'm talking about. Black Girl Magic. She then moved to Mississippi to serve as a Merck UNCF postdoctoral research fellow and an instructor in the microbiology and immunology department at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. Her interest in teaching and student support grew as she supported graduate students in the lab. Dr. Carmichael Davis then served in the immunology department at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill as a seating postdoctoral innovators in research and education, better known as FIRE. Fellow to continue growing her expertise in research and education. Dr. Carmichael Davis has served at Mississippi College for 15 years. She is currently the assistant provost and the director of the Office of Student Success and a tenured professor in the Department of Biology, my first love. While at MC, she has received several honors, including the President's Award for Service to Students, the Distinguished Lecturer Award for Excellence in Teaching in the College of Arts and Sciences, and the Carol C. West Faculty Advocate Award for her service as president of the Faculty Senate. She enjoys coaching students on strategies to enhance their academic success and developing institutional programs to support all students. The loves of her life are her husband of 24 years, Dr. Derek Davis, and their 2 sons, Nicholas and Ian. Welcome, Dr. Carmichael Davis, and take it away.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so privileged. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Can y'all see it? Yes? No?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you heard a whole lot there, but what's important, right, is that I am so honored, Soros, that you had me today in order to speak with everyone. I'm the vice provost, and what a provost is in the school structure, right, in the higher ed college structure, is really those administrators that are in charge of academic programs. So the things that you learn, the programs that you might be in. My particular specialty are all those things that support students outside of the classroom. So that's going to be our writing center, our academic coaches, the International Institute, accessibility services. All of those things are things that I'm supplemental instruction, All of those things are things that happen outside of the classroom that really are there to support you as students. And so making you aware of those things and taking the time to access those things are going to be important. So one of the things that students love, right, and we look forward to is really the freedom of college. It has its benefits. Nobody's telling you when to go to sleep. Nobody's telling you when to go to class. No one's saying when your assignments are due. No one's reminding you to do your homework. Those are things that not only are you free to do them, right? But you have a responsibility to yourself for the first time. Nobody is really responsible for those things other than you. And so really being able to be responsible for yourself and the choices that you're making as a part of matriculating, as a part of being a college student, that's part of the journey, a very important part of learning and a very important part of the journey. So the first thing that I'm going to suggest that you do is show up. And showing up is not just being present, not just sitting in class breathing, right? It is really doing the things that are required, but also practicing the skills of the person that you want to be. You don't just magically become this person that you see in your future. You have to actually practice those skills and practice enacting those values so that you become who you want to be, your best version of yourself. Part of showing up is being aware of the rules, as Ms. Lewis told you. Be aware of the policies. If you miss too many classes, you'll get an F, right? And so being aware of those, but taking advantage of opportunities. For instance, extra credit opportunities that come up early in the semester. You want to take advantage of those opportunities and not wait until the grades have been posted, and then you want extra points. That's not how this works. So I want to encourage you to not just wait to take advantage of those opportunities, but be ready. Showing up daily helps you to be ready when those opportunities present themselves. Pay attention in class, but be an active participant. Not just sitting there, but asking questions, engaging in conversation, figuring out whether or not it was clear as mud, whatever the professor just said. Those are important parts and important ways that you show up for yourself, and you are responsible for yourself. Success isn't magical. It is the sum total of the amount of times that you're showing up for yourself. When you practice it, that's what you'll end up doing. So practice showing up for yourself, being consistent, being prepared, so that even when the path gets challenging, because it does, right? That you will then have set yourself up in such a way that you still show up even when it's hard. And I think about myself going to the gym, right? Establishing the habit of going to the gym, even when I don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when it's raining in the morning, really establishing this habit of showing up for myself. And so what you practice, that's what you'll do, right? So if you practice negative thinking, you practice being absent, you practice giving yourself excuses, that's what you're going to do. And so we want to do more than that. We're called to do more than that. The more you show up, the more you increase your chances of success. So in a 16-week session, in a 16-week semester, if you show up to 5 of the classes, you only give yourself 5 opportunities for success. The more you show up, the more opportunities you give yourself to be successful. So again, that's how important it is for you to establish these habits of being successful, okay? So that you and your future self will have lots of opportunities to be successful instead of the just one. When you are showing up for yourself, you have to control the clock. And what do I mean when I say that? I mean, you control your time, and the ability to manage your time is one of the most important skills you will develop. Studying for more than one class, you might stay out late at night, right? You might play video games late in the night, but then you need to still get up in the morning. You control your time. And so with the freedom of college is the responsibility for you to then control the clock. Now, what does that mean practically speaking? Your instructors are expecting you to spend 2 to 3 times the number of credit hours outside of class studying. So if you take 12 credit hours, we're expecting that you spend 24 to 36 hours outside of class studying. I know that sounds like a lot, right? But class is just where you're introduced to the material, where you go home and practice it and see if it makes sense. Now, that could be on the lower end. The better you get at studying, the shorter the time that you have to spend studying is. But it's a skill like anything else, okay? And so you can get better at it, but when you first start a new skill, it takes a little longer. And the more you do it, the better you get at it, and then it doesn't take as long. So when I talk about studying and you're like, oh my gosh, are they expecting that much time, right? But being a full-time student is your full-time job. That's what that means, right? And so not just the time that you put in, but also what you're learning to do. So in high school, y'all, so this is understanding, right? And so when you are in high school, your instructors often want you to remember and understand what's going on. So they're operating right here. You might cover one chapter for weeks, but we go faster than that in college, okay? And we may be asking you to do more things at the top of this chart where you're analyzing and evaluating and applying what you've learned. When you come in my class, I understand that I assume you remember. I assume you understand unless you tell me otherwise. Right? And so what we need to do is practice applying, analyzing, and evaluating, because that's what you're going to do out in the real world. So why am I bringing that to your attention? The study strategies that you had in high school may or may not be effective in college. And it doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you need to try to do it in a different way. And so a lot of times people confuse having trouble with it as though they can't do it, but it is skill like anything else. And so we can learn some new strategies. So for instance, if you are do a lot of Quizlet and you're just memorizing and regurgitating it, I think of that like learning a new language, learning a song in a language you don't speak. You may make the sounds, but you don't know what the words mean. You can't use the words in order to formulate a new sentence. And so we have to do some other things if we want to be able to use those words to apply them to a new problem. So there's some new strategies that you might have to put in your tool belt so that then that study time becomes shorter because you're better at the process. And academic coaches, professors, they are there to help you with that. So please use those resources when you encounter them. those people are part of your team, right? And so those academic resources like tutoring, writing centers, supplemental instruction, if they have it, where your friends in that have been successful in the class help you to learn the information. And professors. So when we have office hours, that doesn't mean don't bother us, we're in the office. That means please come talk to us. This is time we've set aside to talk to you. Now, a lot of professors will have open door policies. And what that means is if my door is open, please come. I will beg you, cajole you, bribe you so that you will come to my office so we can have a conversation. We want to meet with you. So take advantage of that opportunity. And then one of the last things I'm going to leave you with, and Ms. Lewis started talking about that, and that was about accommodations. So if you have some learning differences, ADHD, anxiety, lupus, sickle cell, the list goes on. If you have any of those things that fall into those categories, you're going to need accommodations. And so you need to request them before you need them. So Ms. Lewis said, please get them early. Please fill out the paperwork early because it takes time to get them in place. And I'll give you some reasons why that might be so in a minute. So they're not retroactive. So from the time you get started and you have them assigned, that only affects the future. It does not affect the past. You can't retake a test. So it's important to get those things in place early. So in college, which is different than high school, the student has to voluntarily initiate the request for accommodations. So you have to go to the Disability or Accessibility Services office and provide documentation. That's different than high school. So I need you to be aware of that. And then the student will work with the office and the professor to determine what's appropriate for each class. Though it's different, right? If you're doing a lecture class where you're seated all the time or a lab class where you might have to do experiments. And so each professor is going to work with you and the disability office to figure out what can be done. Another thing that's different is that the professors aren't going to change the learning objectives that are covered. Common accommodations are going to be things like maybe time and a half, or sometimes double time, or a place where you can take the test that has reduced distractions. Those are some frequent accommodations that are given. But in high school, maybe the learning objectives might be changed or the format of the test. That does not frequently happen in college. And so I just need you to be aware that those differences exist, okay? And then finally, who do you want to become? And so as you go through this journey in college, we have these things in place that we think, okay, I want to be a doctor or I want to be a business person. But what are the skills and the characteristics of a person in the career that you want? Are they disciplined? Are they trustworthy? Do they have to be able to think analytically? Right? Do they have to problem solve? Do they need to be able to speak in front of others or communicate with lots of different people? Those are the skills that you're going to want to grow while you are in college. And it's not just in class where you do that. It's being involved, being active, taking a leadership role in some of the organizations, or being an active participant in clubs, in addition to doing your best work in class. If you are having trouble with a class, remember, you are not your grades. You are so much more than your grades. Now, I would not be truthful if I told you they weren't important, but it's how you recover from any challenges that you may encounter that's important, and that help you to build resilience and become the human you want to be. Okay. So just to recap, right? Tell them what you're going to tell them, tell it to them, and then tell them what you told them, right? That's the rule. Show up, control the clock, pick the right strategy, know who's on your team, and what you practice, you will do. So make sure that you're doing those things. And I'm looking forward to the questions in the question time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Carmichael Davis. Great information. Ditto to a lot of the comments that I'm seeing. Let's give her a round of applause. I see some hearts coming up. Just really appreciate you sharing, especially about taking advantage of opportunities for extra credit. Because as they will learn, sometimes the syllabi will say no extra credit. Then they'll sneak it in for you to go to a session or go over to someone speaking, in your major. So take those opportunities, show up, and don't just be present and accounted for, but show up by engaging. And then time management is key. So as we transition into our next speaker, I do want to take a point of privilege and shout out specifically some fifth grade students I had in 2018 that are now the class of 2025, Callaway High School. They have screenshots, sent some text saying, oh, that's my old principal. So I do want to just shout them out for being on the call tonight to those Callaway Chargers class of 2025. If you were at North Jackson in 2018, I see you. So thank you for being here tonight on this call. And so as we move into our next speaker, we do have Dr. Tasha Thigpen. Dr. Tasha Thigpen is a proud native of Jackson, Mississippi, and a passionate advocate for student success. She holds a bachelor's degree in English from Jackson State University, a master's degree in higher ed administration from Mississippi College, and a PhD in urban higher education from Jackson State University. Dr. Thigpen currently serves as the director of HBCU, Historically Black Colleges and Universities, initiatives at Hinds Community College, the Utica campus, where she leads programs that elevate and celebrate the rich legacy of historically Black colleges and universities. Most recently, she was selected as a member of the prestigious Omicron cohort of the Higher Education Leadership Foundation, further demonstrating her commitment to leadership and excellence in higher ed. Dr. Thigpen has also played a key role in planning college and career fairs, mock interviews, Career and Technical Education Month, and HBCU Week, all aimed at enhancing opportunities for students' personal and professional growth. Outside of her professional role, Dr. Thigpen is driven by a deep passion for empowering students, fostering growth, and creating meaningful pathways to success. In her personal time, she enjoys spending time with family and friends, shopping, and indulging in her favorite foods. Sound like we got a foodie on our hands. Driven by her belief in the power of education, Dr. Thigpen strives to make a meaningful difference in the lives of others, always with a focus on creating opportunities and fostering success. So at this time, we're going to ask Dr. Thigpen to take the driver's seat and take us away.
Good evening. Thank you all so much. Again, welcome and thank you to the ladies of the Jackson Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta for this opportunity to have us all on here. So I am Dr. Tasha Thigpen from Hinds Community College, the Utica campus, and today we'll explore how to prepare for success in college, in life, as well as beyond high school. All right, so welcome. Today is all about you. Initiating this, getting on this call. That says a lot about your future, about your success. And we just want to thank you for joining the call. So How can you learn from this webinar today? You want to learn to use your college support system. As everyone has mentioned, we are all here to support you. That's what it's all about. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without you all. So keep that in mind. We are here to support you. So never think that a question or that you're getting on someone's nerves. No, it's not about that. We are here to support, and we genuinely want to hear from you. You want to learn to build good academic habits, as well as explore real campus opportunities. So if they're putting the opportunities out there, just like this webinar, please, I encourage you all to join these things, get as much information. You want to be almost like a sponge. You want to soak it up. Do not overload yourself with information, but you take what you need, and then you be able to funnel it as you need to. So I challenge everyone, drop one word in the chat. What does academic success mean to you? One word only, nothing to stress over, just one word that describes academic success to you. All right, so academic advising, as we all have mentioned, this is your GPS. So we know our city, we know how to navigate around everything, but sometimes there's traffic on the highway. Sometimes there's some things that you just can't foresee in your near future that you kind of need to pay attention to. So that's where academic advising comes in. Let that be your GPS, your college GPS. And then also, not only advising, take advantage of those support systems that you have. So that could be tutoring, that could be your writing center, that could be your student support services. That could also be you communicate early. Make sure that you communicate with your instructors to be able to say, hey, I'm struggling a little bit, or I'm having some issues, because we are, once again, all here to support you.
Dr.
So that
Thigpen,
could be.
I'm sorry, just before you begin going
Yes.
through your PowerPoint, if you could put it in presentation mode, thank you so much.
Presentation. What? Do I hit present?
Yes,
Okay. Present full screen?
yes.
Can you see it now?
We see it, but it's still in edit mode. It should be present and because it's like it's Canva, it should be present full screen. You may want to stop sharing and share again to
Yes,
make
ma'am.
sure. Yep. Sorry to interrupt you because you were
Oh, no,
on
thank
hold.
you. Okay, let's see, present.
Click the present, it's the purple button.
Okay, I'm gonna try one more thing. What about now?
That's closer to it. That is presenter mode, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see.
So I hit present and then hit present a full screen.
Mhm.
Hit present. And you can't see it?
Well, I can't see you now, I still see you. Share
Oh,
your
okay.
screen. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm sorry.
It's okay, but you know what? If you can't get it, we're gonna roll on like it
Okay.
is, because I can tell you have a lot to share with us tonight, and we don't want to have any technology issues to be the reason why we can't hear your message. So we're
Okay.
gonna just keep rolling. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you see the screen?
No, share. You got to share. Have you shared your screen?
Yes. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay.
Miss Tilden is saying after you do full screen, then hit the purple button.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Share. Present. Okay. What about now?
At the bottom, you hit the present at the bottom. So the purple button at the bottom says present. There we go. I think that's it.
Y'all can see it?
We can see your screen, yes.
Okay.
And we'll go from there. Yep, you can just scroll up as you go.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
fine. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you. And again,
Okay, yes,
I apologize for the interruption.
Oh, no, it's okay. Okay. So yes, academic advising, make sure you explore your roadmap to your destination. All right. Building academic habits that stick. Go to class. Go to class. As the saying says, students that go to class tend to pass. So yes, it rhymes, it's catchy, but no, it's serious. It's serious. So, sit somewhere that benefits you. I'm a talker, so I can't go sit in the back with my friends because I like to talk. So I may have to sit in the front. Some people may have to sit by the exit door. It just depends. You may have to sit by the clock, but sit wherever the best location in that classroom for you. Use planners and calendar apps. I love my phone, right? We all own it. We're on Instagram, we're on social media, but I also have my life. So I have my calendar app is full of personal things, work things, anything that I need to remember is on that calendar app. I have my notes section full of different things that I need to remember. So we all have our phones. Keep that in mind. Sometimes you may want an actual physical notebook or a planner to write those things in. It may have to be the cutest one. You may have to have the best pen to write on that. So just keep that in mind. Whatever you feel you need to be successful, please, please, I encourage you to keep that in mind. Go out and purchase those things or make it on the internet so that you can have access to those things to be successful. Review your notes daily. So before I start my day, anything that I have to brain dump in the mornings or late at night, I look those things over so that I can start my day with everything in mind that I need to. It's a lot going on. We have our personal lives, you'll have your personal, you'll have your family, you'll have your friends. So keep all of those things in mind. You may need to kind of jot them down before you enter into that classroom to fully be focused. So discipline. We're not asking you all to change your life completely, but be disciplined while you are in college. The same with high school. You go to bed at a certain time, you wake up at a certain time, you have your schedule. Be disciplined and let that drive your motivation. So I have a poll here, which we can't click, but I do have a poll. It says, which of these is hardest for you? Is it staying organized? Is it managing your time? Is it asking for help, that communication? Or is it studying? Do self-surveys throughout the year, especially when you get around that midterm. It's not too late to kind of change things around, but you want to be able to say, hey, I'm not doing well. What am I doing wrong? So that you can make those changes. All right, time management. So we know that by now, wherever you are, especially if you're in high school, you may have figured out a little bit about what it takes to be able to pass those tests. Some people can cram. I'm not one that can cram, so I need a little bit more time to study and look things over. So break big assignments into smaller tasks. Set reminders for deadline and don't forget to focus. That may be, putting your phone on do not disturb, but actually looking at what I need to do and how am I going to obtain this goal. I'm sure that once you reach that goal, you are going to be so proud of yourself, and it may require you to change some things, minimize your time of free time to be able to focus more on the aspects of what you're trying to complete, which will be your college degree. Your mindset matters. So, thinking positively, of course, will affect how you are able to interact and just keep that drive going. We all have days, even on the working side, we have days, but I let my students drive me. So, I encourage you, that favorite teacher, that you have, you may look forward to seeing them just for that one block, but it matters. That's a positive mindset. That's something that positive adds to your day. It may be going with your friends to eat lunch. If that's something that drives you, whatever positive thing it is, I encourage you to keep that in mind. But also, mental health is important. So the mindset matters, but how can we be whole if we are not whole within? So I encourage all of you to be realistic about your mental health. College is a new experience. Oftentimes, of course, being away from home, students have anxiety about it. Let's be real. Students have anxiety about that. And so we have to kind of relax the student so that they can say, hey, okay, this is not forever. I get to go home for holidays. The holidays is coming up. So keep that in mind. Your mental health matters. Have a positive mindset and know that we value you. We want to hear from you, but we won't know if you don't come to us. So talk to somebody. Keep that in mind. Find your fit, then grow there. So I encourage all of you, get involved. It has been said before me, get involved. You can benefit from meeting other students. You can benefit from meeting other students in your class, other students at the college, but overall, finding someone that can help push you along your way. Of course, you'll have your original friends, and no one's asking you to change that. But those student organizations are there to encourage you to be engaged. So that's just not in the classroom, but also outside the classroom. And you'll feel 10 times better by having a group of people that you can associate yourself with. Lead projects and events. If that's important to you, you see something that's not happening on your campus that you want to, inquire about, or you want to sponsor an event. Maybe you're feeling lonely and you want to have, sometimes they have those transfer groups to bring people together, or a Mississippi group if you're somewhere outside of Mississippi. But find your fit and grow there. Let that grow you. Let that add value to you as well as you add value to other people. So just a little information about some of our community colleges. Of course, we have our academic transfer programs where you can go to any four-year institution in the state of Mississippi if it is a college, community college in Mississippi. We also have career and technical programs because, of course, academics is not for everyone. So maybe you're interested in cosmetology, barbering, welding, or culinary, just to name a few. Keep in mind that we also have career and technical programs on our community college level. So, again, you can be successful. Some people have a different drive. They may just say, hey, high school, I got through it. I'm excited, but I want to go to work a little sooner. Maybe that culinary or that welding, that entertainment may be the right pathway for you. And of course, student success, as we said before, keep in mind your writing center, your support labs, your computer labs, your student support services, your disability support. They are all here for you. Go out, meet those people, introduce yourself, find out the help you need. If it's more computer time, you don't have a laptop that you really love or that is working properly. They have things for you to rent. They have supplies to give you. If you're missing paper, pens, they have these supplies on campus to give you, but you have to reach out and get those services. As she said before me, you have to speak up. You have to advocate for yourself. Don't forget that, you have your parents, but they won't necessarily be there with you. So don't forget to advocate for yourself and pop in. I'm sure they're friendly people. They would love to meet you and talk with you day to day. So another thing that we have is get involved. So although you may be in high school or on our lower level, while you're still on the lower level before you get to college, I encourage you to seek out different programs at your respective colleges that you may be interested in. So one that I'm having on our campus is with Thurgood Marshall College Fund. It is called the SOAR program, and it is for juniors. So that's going to be Rising Seniors, which is our class of 2026. This summer camp will be held July 13th through July 18th, and it is solely built to do what they are doing today. Offer you student success stories, offer you different things to get you used to the college aspect before you actually get to college. I have the website here, which is hindscc.edu/SOAR 2025. It doesn't cost anything to stay with us. It is 1 week residential, and we supply all of your needs. So your journey starts now. Use your resources. You don't have to do it alone. Build good habits. Remember, consistency over perfection. Stay connected. Keep your support systems close. Don't forget to check in when you get to college. Sometimes everyone is so excited that they forget to check in with mom and dad or their guardians or family. Don't forget that those people were there for you and they will offer you a little laugh if it gets a little stressful. And finally, believe in yourself. Confidence open doors. Sometimes we can recognize when you're a little shy or a little scared, and then it's up to us to kind of guide you. But then we watch you all grow. So I promise it may start off a little hazy, but you already have the tools that you need by joining this webinar today. So here I have my contact information. If you need to reach me, I have my phone number and my email address. Please do not hesitate to reach out, and I look forward to speaking with any of you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thigpen, so much. This is not a question and answer, but before you stop sharing, can you scroll back up to the
Yes, ma'am.
SOAR program? Someone needed to get that information
Yes, ma'am.
about that SOAR program. Yes, thank you so much. Just want to make sure you have those dates. And again, after this webinar, we're going to share with our participants our speakers' information. So that if you have any more questions or need points of clarity for anything that they shared, you will be able to reach out to them directly. So thank you so very much. So again, Dr. Thigpen, thank you, thank you, thank you. You started off with one of my favorite things to say, take what you need. I always say it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So just making sure that you get what you need, go to class, and then finding your fit, being engaged in your schools and taking initiative to make your school what you want it to be. So again, thank you so much, Dr. Thigpen, for the information that you shared with us.
Thank you.
All right. And so as we move into our next speaker with Get to College, we have Miss Ashley Bryant joining us tonight. Miss Ashley Rose Bryant. She is joining us from the Woodbine Education Foundation. And in May 2023, she was a assistant director in outreach for the Jackson. It was made the I'm sorry. She in 2023 she became the assistant director in outreach for the Jackson Get to College Center. She travels to schools in Central Mississippi and meets with students and families in office to educate and counsel them in their college access and financial aid options. Ashley understands from personal experience the emotions, the concerns, and life factors that impact a student's ability and decision to pursue college. She moved from her hometown of Meridian, Mississippi in 2014 to attend Belhaven University in Jackson, Mississippi. She graduated as a cum laude graduate in 2018 with a bachelor's degree in business administration and management with a minor in costume design. Ashley remained in the Jackson area where she began to develop a working knowledge of the community and gain a strong public service background in various roles serving the community. In 2021, Ashley returned to her alma mater, and mine too, Belhaven University, as an admission counselor. She traveled to schools and community events across Mississippi to guide families through the college admissions process. Now, a part of the Woodward Hines Education Foundation, Ashley finds fulfillment in using her understanding of college admissions, postgraduate life experience, and her working knowledge of the education system to counsel, encourage, and assist families on their journey to obtain higher education and a higher quality of life. Again, as we trade out and get another pilot, take it away, Miss Ashley Rose Bryant.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you guys so much for having me be a part of this presentation here. I like to thank my colleagues, especially Ms. Lewis. You really hit a lot of the heavy points that I was going to emphasize on tonight. Like you said, I'm from Woodward Hines Education Foundation. Get to College, Get number 2 college is the boots on the ground. Where my fan at? The boots on the ground of the Woodward Hines Education Foundation. We are a nonprofit, which means that all our services are completely free. We have a lot of hands in the public school system, especially through our CCR classes. I saw Ms. Tilden, shout out to you. But yes, so we are a nonprofit, and our main goal is to make sure that Mississippians find education. At Woodward Hines Education Foundation, we believe that college is anything you do post-secondary. And so that looks different for every student, right? Just depending on your goals. But we believe that education is the key to a better quality of life and for our community, right? And so, like I said, I won't re-emphasize a lot of what my colleagues who've gone before me have already spoken about. But I do want you guys to know that college looks different, again, for every student, depending on your goals, your ambitions, For example, certificate programs, typically that's 1 to 2 years. With a certificate program, you could do real estate. You can do mortgaging, construction, electrician, HVAC, especially for students who don't want an elongated educational journey. You can get a college degree with a certificate. And your income is looking at about $40,000 to $66,000, depending on, where you go into. I push every student I come into contact with to have at least an associate's degree. Not only do we at Woodward Hines Education Foundation consider college to be any form of education after high school, we believe that it is the key to life-sustaining income. Just put in the chat real quick, life-sustaining income, because that is really our goal for our Mississippians to have, and why education is so important. So an associate's degree will open you up to a lot more career options, and it's only 2 years of school. So you can become a paralegal if you want to work in law enforcement or in law, a dental hygienist, therapist assistant, a chef, a head cook, a rad tech. These are just a few things that the door could open up to you through associate's degree. And you can get an associate's degree or certificate at your local community college. A bachelor's degree, that's 4 years. So, with a 4-year degree, you're looking at an increase in income potentially, anywhere between $47,000 and $107,000+, right? That's not a guarantee, but just know that it opens you up more the more you invest in yourself. I love what Ms. Lewis pointed out, is that college is an investment, and you don't want to walk into that investment blindly, okay? Before we even begin talking about programs, again, she hit that really good about how to select a major. I like to work with students backwards. So at Get to College, we offer, again, free services. And one of those free services, which is now one of my personal favorites, is the college planning appointment. And I'll share more information at the end on how to book one of those. But we meet with your student one-on-one. I have a huge team of people, y'all. We have a location in Jackson. That's where my office is located. Our colleagues there have an office in South Haven, Mississippi, and an office in Ocean Springs. We even have a team of people who work statewide and touch the other schools that are outside of our radius. And so through your college planning appointment, we're going to talk about, I'll start from the basics. What do you like to do? Because your career is going to be comprised of a lot of what you like to do. Maybe some things you don't really enjoy necessarily, but mostly what you enjoy doing. What are you gifted in? What comes natural to you? Like I teach students, I'm like, do you know how to make a banging pot of noodles? You know what I'm saying? Make a business out of it, right? And business ownership isn't for everybody, but I like to take the boxes off of you, right? I hear a lot of students that want to go into biology. Okay, what do you want to do with that degree? It's so broad. What kind of research have you done? So once you kind of get an idea of what comes natural to you, what are your natural skill sets, who are you called to serve? I had a student that came in my office one time she knew specifically what she wanted to do, and that was a medical technician. She wanted to create, having gone through her own medical journey and seeing loved ones go through medical journeys, she's like, why aren't there replacements, like medical devices to replace bad kidneys? And I was like, that is so specific, so, think about those things. What is it that I do? What is it that I do well? Who am I called to serve? And go backwards. So what career, what major was going to nurture or complement that? To share a little bit of my own journey, like she said, I'm a business major from Belhaven University. I'm an artist, I'm a painter and designer. Actually, I just registered my business as of today. But my major in college was not art, it was business, because business complemented art. I knew I could paint on a canvas all day long, but I did not have the skills or the character at the time to really function in business and make a name for myself. So pick a major that's going to nurture or complement what you do well. All right. And when it comes to affordability and college fit, my other colleagues hit that very, very well. You don't want to walk into your college investment blindly. And during our college planning appointments, we will talk about We'll do a deep dive into what you like to do. We'll talk about programs. We'll compare school options. When it comes to the affordability piece of it, we will talk about financial aid tonight. But just know it's about strategy and research. Research is your schools, okay? And if there's a career that you're interested in, find a shadow. Find somebody in your community who's doing what you want to do. Can I shadow you? Can I follow you for 24 hours? You know, what makes you do what you want to do? Moving forward to the process of enrolling into college. So you can screenshot this if you want to. You do need a high school transcript. So for my juniors on this line, your college applications will start to open in August. So it used to open in July. Most of them will open in August. So check with their individual schools on their dates. So, because some schools may open up a little later or a little earlier. We do recommend that students have at least a 3 to 5 list of schools they're looking at. And I'm going to tell you to put a community college on that list. There are 15 community colleges in the state of Mississippi and 15 four-year universities, 8 public and several private, right? So know the differences. We can talk about that during those appointments. What are the differences between those colleges? And if you have any questions, please share in the chat. But you have a lot to choose from. So don't overwhelm yourself. Pick 3 to 5 schools that work for you, that have your program, that have your college fit, just like my colleagues talked about. Do they have organizations and clubs that you want to be a part of? Have you visited the school, right? Do you like the city that the school's in? For my city people, are you okay with going to Alcorn State University? Because you have to drive like an hour to get groceries, right? So do as much research like that as you can. You don't want to walk into this investment blindly, okay? So going back to my juniors, you will need your high school transcript. When colleges are looking at your applications, you haven't taken your first senior class. So for anyone who's not a junior, who's not a senior on this call, you want to treat every year like it's your senior year. I'm telling my 9th grade students that because colleges will look at everything you've done from 9th to 12th grade. But when you apply to your application this summer, you will not have taken any senior classes, okay? So any opportunities for extra credit work you can do, start now. Any challenging classes, juniors, that you can take, AP courses. I'm a heavy AP course pusher. Really, take advantage of those opportunities. ACT scores, SAT scores. The ACT was written on the 11th grade level. So go ahead and start practicing. We have practice materials on our website, gettocollege.org, on our YouTube channel. Some of you may be familiar with Stephen Brown, who was with us. He did ACT prep with students. He still does at the Briarwood Art Center. We also have videos that he created for us on our YouTube channel that are broken down into little bite-sized segments. The ACT is important because it determines your scholarship, your admissions, and class placement. And if you are on free or reduced lunch at your school, you should qualify for a fee waiver that would waive your ACT fee for registering for that and your applications to college this summer. So if you have questions about that, you need to contact whoever your counselor is at your school, okay? So like I said, once you've selected your 3 to 5 schools, keep it manageable because you're going to need to know who your recruiters are. Your recruiters are your point people. If you need to, can I meet with nursing department? Can I talk to education at Belhaven? Can I speak with the accommodations office? Your admissions counselor at that school is going to connect you to who you need to be connected with, okay? So make sure they know you. Make sure you know your background. I worked with a student at Belhaven. Just because I knew that student and he stayed in contact with me, I knew his situation. A scholarship came across my desk as an admissions counselor, and they asked if I knew a student who qualified for the scholarship. Y'all, it was like 2 days before classes started. He went from having a huge balance to this scholarship was now large enough to give him a refund check that wasn't a loan, because there's 2 different types of refund checks, to where he had money for his art materials. So make sure you know who your recruiters are and that they know you. Even if you're a junior, it's not too early to do that. Visit your campus and attend college fairs. Do not skip the college fairs. Ask good questions. and take notes, okay? And take the little cards and really use them to contact those recruiters. These are the requirements here, the 3.2 GPA, 2.5, 2.0, 16, 18 ACT. If you meet any one of these 3 requirements, you can get accepted into any of the 8 four-year universities, okay, in Mississippi. All right, so like I said, the ACT was created for juniors. It can be a challenging test, but there are materials out there. We do have materials to help our students. And like I tell students, it is like the Olympics. There are so many students that will just rush into the test, have not exposed themselves to any practice tests, and they get there and they freeze. You can't just go into the ACT blindly, y'all. It is written to make sure you actually understand college level material. So it's like the Olympics. You got to train yourself. You got to expose yourself to time testing. I've had 4.0 students bomb the ACT. I've had 2.6, 2.8 students make 20s and 22s. It's because some people are better test takers than other people, right? But we have prep videos, and we do have virtual workshops about 2, 3, or 4 times a year when we can find instructors for those. You can register for our workshops at get2college.org under our students tab. And again, our website on YouTube. We do have some practice materials there for you. The ACT actually just released a game for students to play on their we can find it under our link on our website, ACT prep materials. They have a game where students can play a little mini computer game based on the different subjects. So reading, science. Science is not optional if you didn't know that. So yes, check that out. So really quickly, again, a lot of this is what we would cover in a college planning appointment, because students need to know what college options look like for them, including the affordability factor, and it really is a strategy. So for my people who are going into a trade, who are going into a, don't want an elongated education journey, you can just go to a community college. Not every student needs to go to a 4-year university to do what you need to do. And so that's what we do. We help you compare those things. And you can go to our website at get2college.org for our college comparison tool. And we have every school in the state of Mississippi on that college comparison tool. We can compare the cost of college. What I do tell students is that if the money ain't there and you're only getting Pell Grant, listen, how can we just maximize what's there, right? If I tell you you have a 20 on the ACT, and Holmes Community College would give you full tuition and fees, right? And which they do. They're the only school in the state of Mississippi that will give you a full tuition and fees scholarship with a 20 on the ACT. You can go there for 2 years, possibly free if you're commuting back and forth for home, right? You live in the area, commute back and forth to school, free tuition and fees. Anything on top of that, like Pell Grant, anything else you receive scholarship-wise will probably come back to you as a refund check. So you're now building your savings or applying it towards your materials and tools, right? And then if you maintain a 3.5 GPA or higher, that first semester of school, you can transfer into a public university. You see what I'm saying? So now you've cut your costs, even if you have to take out some student loan in that for your university, it's a lot less than it would have been going to a 4-year university, directly out of high school. So that's the kind of things we talk about in our college planning appointments. So I do want to talk about really briefly the 4 areas of financial aid. This is where your money is going to come from. Okay. So a lot of people say, oh, there's money everywhere. There's money to find it. Yeah, it's kind of true. But we break it down really simple for you. Your money's going to come from one of 4 places, or hopefully all 4, right? So let's talk about college aid. Like I said, Holmes Community College will give you a full tuition and fees. That's not a full ride. We don't use that terminology, full ride, because a lot of colleges in Mississippi don't offer full rides. Now, selective schools do, and selective schools like Rice University, Thinking about another, like, let's put out there, Harvard, I think Baldwin, they want our Mississippi students. So those high achieving scholars who want to attend a top 20 school, selective school, yes, absolutely. They are offering college aid that covers books and travel and stuff that just blows my mind. They come and visit us all the time. And they said, we want your Mississippi students. We want your Mississippi scholars, right? So if you're interested about the selective schools, please reach out to me. I do have more information about that. But for example, that 20 ACT scholarship is an example of college aid. It's anything that comes directly from the college itself. Lucky Day, anything like that, that's college aid, okay? Mississippi aid, I have a breakdown for you. But Mississippi aid is coming from the state of Mississippi for Mississippi high school students. There are 4 different types, and I will show you what those look like. Outside aid, that's the scholarships you find on the, have y'all heard of United Negro College Fund? Is it? I think yeah, uncf.org, or collegeboard.bigfuture.org. There are different scholarships out there, Coca-Cola scholarship, Chick-fil-A scholarship. Those are a little bit more competitive. Some of those are on a national level. But I would start local for outside aid. So we do have local scholarships put on our website, gettocollege.org, under the scholarship search tab. And you can see all the Mississippi scholarships. If we are aware of a Mississippi scholarship, we're going to put it on there. There's a Tupelo scholarship that has been floating around for a year or two, and it doesn't even require an essay. It requires, if you're musically talented, it's a music scholarship. So was reaching to a good point. Some scholarships require essays and some don't. But that's up to you. So when you're researching those 3 to 5 schools, y'all, make sure you know the deadlines. When do you need my application in? When do you need my FAFSA completed? When do you need, which by the way, FAFSA does not have a deadline for the school technically. But check in with your school because policies change all the time. And know the different scholarships they offer, the deadlines and requirements for those scholarships. Check with departmental scholarships, okay? So it's college aid, outside aid, federal aid. That's the FAFSA. That's the FAFSA. Y'all have probably heard of that before. It stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. The FAFSA is just an application that measures your need, your household need for additional aid for school. That's all it does. It uses 2-year-old taxes from mom, dad, guardian. So use 2-year-old taxes to measure how much money you need for school. They get sent to the schools, and the schools are the ones that confirm your award and receive the money. All right, so I talked about state aid, and I want to show you guys what that looks like. Let me see, make sure I didn't go too far. One second. Again, any questions you guys have? I don't want to get into the weeds with it, but just know we are here to help make this clear for you and take away a lot of the stress that surrounds college affordability. All right, so Pell Grant. So there's 4 things that come out of FAFSA, that FAFSA application. There's Pell, there is student loans, of course, work study opportunities, and some institutional aid. For example, for some institutional aid, like Belhaven, for example, looked at my parents' FAFSA. I made too much money. Parents made too much money on paper to receive Pell Grant, which I've seen it range from $20 a year to $7,395. That's the max Pell. My parents made too much money, but I did get some work study and a Belhaven boost. I forgot what they called it, but it was like $50 a year that went towards something I didn't have to pay for. So if you look at this chart here I've shared with you guys, if your income falls within these lines, you can expect to receive some Pell. All right, and this was actually for the 25-26 FAFSA. So this is this current year seniors, right? Or this past year's kind of, they're getting ready to graduate, but yes, 25-26 school year. So max Pell, like again, the max Pell is going to be $7,395 in money that the student does not have to pay back to the federal government. Okay. And the minimum Pell, I've seen that be $20 a year. That's the lowest I've ever seen it. So take a screenshot of that if you need it, and do just stay aware, especially in this current political climate.
just stay aware of changes to this. I know last year this actually increased. So they accounted for inflation. So they adjusted the numbers. But us that get to college, we do consider ourselves to be experts. We don't know everything because, like I said, and especially in this current political climate, things change all the time. But we do stay aware of what's happening. So if you have questions, I'll have my contact on there, and please reach out to us if you have questions. So state aid. There are 4 types of state aid. So you put one application in. Both the FAFSA and this application, the Mississippi Aid or msfinancialaid.org application, they open up October 1st this year. So for my juniors who are getting ready to be seniors, this application opens up October 1st. Okay, this one does not need parent information. The FAFSA does. This one just uses student demographic information. It's very, very simple. You put one application in, whichever one of these qualifications that you meet will be the one you're awarded. So MTAG, you see the requirements there. MTAG, that's 500 your first 2 years, 1,000 your last 2 years of school. MESG, that you see the requirements there, 29 ACT, 3.5 GPA. MESG is 2,500 every year of your bachelor's degree. The HELP grant is a life changer, game changer, okay? If you have a 20 ACT or above, a 2.5 GPA, basically college prep material, curriculum, all that stuff is basically saying you met the needs to graduate from high school and you met the income requirements. Now I do have that chart on my next slide, but typically for a 1 student household, if your income is $39,500 or less. For some, I have had parents who are on disability, right? So that means you don't file taxes, you don't have income. So that means that if your student has a 20 on the ACT or 2.5 GPA, they should qualify for the HELP grant. Faith grant, also a complete game changer. It's fairly new. So the Faith grant, if you've been in the custody of CPS or custody of CPS or foster care under the age of 25, then you should qualify for the Faith grant. It covers the full cost of attendance. So that's not only tuition and fees, right? That is books, that is transportation, that's somewhere to stay, while you're on campus, even during the holidays. So it's a complete game changer. And again, you put one application in October 1st, and that's when it opens, and they will confirm your award. Now, we'll say one of these has a deadline, and it's the HELP grant. That deadline is March 31st. But I tell my students, don't even worry about that, because I want every student to have this application in at msfinancialaid.org before Christmas. Just get it off your plate before Christmas. Don't even worry about it. But it is due by March 31st. This is that chart for the HELP grant. Take a screenshot of this. If you have a 1-child household, so 1 student, 39,500 or less, that's the income requirement. And so if you have 2 children, 44,500, 3 children under the age of 21. You have to be under the age of 21. Doesn't matter if they're in college or not. If they're under the age of 21, you see here, if you make this much or less, you should qualify. You meet those other requirements, you should qualify for the HELP grant. This is just an overview of everything that we've talked about all night, y'all. Whether it's me or the colleagues who went before me. Research your college, know your investment wisely, make a bold and purposeful and confident decision when it comes to your college. And we are here to discuss that with you at Get to College. So those applications, the MAP or MS Financial Aid application or FAFSA, open up October 1st. The parent and the student needs an FSA ID. That means you create your account at studentaid.gov at least 3 days before trying to complete the FAFSA. If you need help with that, please let us know. But you need an account, both parent. So if parent files, if a parent is married and files taxes jointly, only one parent. If parent's married and files taxes separately, 2 parents and a student, so that's 3 accounts that are needed. And if a student is in a legal guardianship, the student will be an independent student.
So we also work with very complicated situations. So if you find yourself in that place or you know someone, we help in those situations too, okay? FAFSA opens October 1st, help deadline March 31st. And then really April and May, that's when you really want to start narrowing down your college decision, communicating with your admissions counselor that you're committing to that school, doing the housing deposit, all that kind of stuff. Know those deadlines, know when orientation is, know those dates, and be responsible. This is my contact information. Take a screenshot of that. And that is all I have. I'll be glad to answer any questions you have, but that's what I got.
Thank you, Ms. Bryant. We really appreciate you with making sure that Get to College has a plethora of information. We can give her a round of applause. We see it coming through, those hearts coming up. So we thank you for the information that you shared. Get to College is definitely boots on the ground. I've seen them at so many of our community events, even at football games, set up to ensure that our students are receiving the information that they need. Again, we want to make sure that you are chartering your path. What's the best fit for you? Looking at the college, what's in the college to ensure that's the best fit for you. And also, too, if you're going down to the reservation, there is a grocery store just 15 minutes away in Port Gibson. So you may not have to take that ride to Natchez or Vicksburg as a parent of an Alcorn State student. So, yeah, we have visited that grocery store several times. So just want to make sure that you are choosing the right school just for you and what you want your major to be. And so without further ado, we want to keep moving right along to Mr. Christopher J. Barney Sr. He is going to bring us very briefly some information on economic development. He is a native of Meridian, Mississippi. He's a proud graduate of Jackson State University, where he received his bachelor's degree in business administration. Upon finishing at Jackson State, he remained in Jackson, Mississippi, and after working in retail management for several years, he became a financial services representative with the American General Financial Services, and then which is an affiliate of the AIG Corporation, where he worked for over 10 years. It was here that he honed in on his gift in the realm of consumer lending, retail business development, and home equity respectively. After AIG, he would later become a part of the team of Trustmark National Bank here in Jackson, where he has served for 8 years. And during his tenure at Trustmark, he has worked his way up through the ranks from an entry-level position up to the office of Retail Market Manager and Assistant Vice President, overseeing several branches here in the Jackson metro area. He recently joined JP Morgan Bank as the Vice President and Bank Manager. His hobbies include fishing, golf, and chess. He is married to Daphne Stamps Barney and is the father of 2 sons, Christopher J. Barney II and Braxton Alexander Barney. Bringing in our last speaker for the night, Mr. Barney, take it away.
Good evening. Let me first give off this official disclaimer that I am not the most technologically savvy individual, so you all were wise to save me until dead last. But I do want to take the moment to appreciate you all for inviting me to be the only testosterone to this party tonight. I will strive to make sure I represent well. I want to say first and foremost for all that I did get to hear, phenomenal speakers, phenomenal input. And it is my hope that everyone is taking a lot from these speakers. I want to thank Dr. Mitchell for offering me the opportunity to speak tonight, and for our facilitator, Lady Smith, who's been doing a great job. Now, I'll be brief. I was given 20 minutes. I'll strive to be within the confines of my time. I don't have the presentation flow that I'm assuming everybody is seeing, but I'm going to just give some tips to our young people who are preparing to go into college and to make sure that they are college ready in reference to their finances. My job is to talk about the money. I want to make sure that our young people are financially prepared and financially sound for the things that they're going to need to have in reference to the financial mindset in regards to what they are about to embark upon this journey that is college. So for all of you that hear me, the first thing I'm going to say to you and ask you is, do you have a plan? Because going into this next endeavor of your lifetime, college is going to be the most phenomenal, it's going to be the most incredible, it's going to be the most fun-lived time of your life. But at the same time, it can be one of the most vulnerable times of your life in reference to your economic outlook. You can make decisions, you can become victimized, you can become financially compromised in ways during your college tenure, unlike any other time that you will be still feeling the weights thereof if you're not careful. Sometimes they will echo into eternity. So I want to talk to you about some things that is going to hopefully be beneficial to you, that you're going to move smartly with, so that you can be sound in all of your decision making. First thing I said already, you need to make sure that you have a plan, that you have some type of financial goal, some type of financial aspect, even going into your freshman year. Whether you go to the JUCO, whether you go to the 4-year, whether you go to the technical college, no matter what you're doing, you need to right now, don't wait, don't think about getting your money together after you get your degree, after you get a job. You need to be right now thinking about your money, the money that you may have already, the money that you may be already earning, the money that you may be getting through, what is that thing that some people got to get that I never got? An allowance. You may be getting money that way. I don't know what your flow might be. But if you have any type of income, it's time for you to be working smart with it so that you can get yourself together. How you begin a thing is how you will end in a thing. And it's never too early to start a plan. I wish someone had to talk to me about that when I was a sophomore or a junior or a senior in high school. I would have went into college with a completely different mindset than I did, and probably could have saved myself a lot of pain. But that's all right. Pain produces power. And we're going to share some of that with you tonight. So first thing I want to talk to you about as we're getting ready to get you ready for college is I want to talk about checking accounts. If you do not, as a senior, junior, whatever group I'm talking to tonight, if you do not currently have a checking account, I would encourage you for you to go to your local bank. Chase Bank is always available to you, by the way. Go to your local bank and get before one of the platform staff there. That's the people that sit at the desk in the bank. And go to them and tell them that you are interested in opening a checking account. Take mom or dad with you if you need to do that, or someone of guardian or adult capacity if you need. But you need to go ahead and start getting yourself a portfolio, a fiscal portfolio, a capacity, engine, a vehicle, if you will, of being able to handle money. This will also be helpful for you because when you're in college, this will also allow mom, dad, auntie, uncle, grandmama, granddaddy to send money to you without trying to send it in the mail or any of the other dangerous methods that we used to get money back in my day. So it's important that you look at opening up a student checking. And when you go in, make certain that you request that, a student checking account. The reason why it's important that you ask for that, no matter what bank you go to, whether it's Chase or Trustmark or Cadence or whoever your flavor is, all of them have checking accounts that are designed for students. And the reason why you want to ask for a student checking account is because 100 out of 100 times is going to be free. And when I say free, that means that there is no maintenance fees or no service costs affiliated to that account. It means it costs you absolutely nothing to be able to use one of the most critical apparatuses that you're going to use, one of the critical things you're going to use in life, which is finance, which is a checking account. You're going to need that now. You're going to need that while you're in college. You're going to need that after you graduate from college, because you cannot keep your money under a bed. You can't put your money in pillowcases. You can't store it in the closet. You got to have a means to have money. When you get ready to do things like buy cars and buy houses and those big endeavors that you need to have a financial plan for, one of the first things they're going to want to know is how much money do you have in the bank? So we don't need to put that off. We need to be going ahead and thinking about that right now. And the best thing for you to do is to open up a student checking, because normally they are free until you are at least 25 years of age. Write that down. Most banks will allow you to have a student checking account until you are at 25. Some go to 27, but at least until you're 25 years of age. So you want to ride that train as long as you can, because trust me, for those of us who wish we could go back to 25 and have free checking accounts, we can't do it. Wish we could, but we can't. So you need to maximize your moment, optimize your opportunities, and do that. Tell mom, tell dad, tell somebody, I want to go to the bank. I want to put my money into a student checking account. If you don't have that, I would encourage you to take care of that business as soon as possible. When you get the account, next thing I want to talk to you about in reference to that is make sure that you reconcile your account regularly. What do you mean, Chris? Glad you asked. That means I need you to make sure that you are utilizing every technological tool, every old school tool, if you're like me, to make sure that you are keeping your money reconciled, making sure that you got enough money to do what it is that you are out there doing, to make sure that you are not out there overspending and spending money that you do not have. And it is very easy to do, as we're getting ready to talk in a few moments about debit cards. If you are not careful, you will be out there swiping and writing checks and doing things. And you sometimes think that you got money that's in your account, and you may forget that you have an automatic deduction coming out, or you may forget that you paid something a while back and it just cleared this week and you thought it was already clear. So you need to make sure that you are regularly checking your account, making sure that you have money in your account so that you can take care of your business. Because if you don't check and reconcile your account, you will bring forth fees. You will have to pay money that you shouldn't have to pay, in reference to not just doing some simple adding and some subtracting. One of the best tools that I would recommend for any young person, and some older people too, is a tool called a check register. If you go to any bank, go inside, go up to the teller line and just ask, and sometimes they have them on the platform too. But if you ask for a check register, they're going to give you this little bitty rectangular pad, if you will, that has a lot of lines in it that you are supposed to write the dates and the names of the people you have wrote expenses out to, and the amounts that you have wrote expenses out. And you're supposed to be keeping up with those funds that you are spending, or with the money that you're bringing in. And it's important that if you have the mindset, it's important that you not only keep up with checks that you may get in doing that, but it's important that you do it with debit cards. If you make it the time, and I like to say it all the time, if you can take the time to text, you can take the time to check. And I think we all make time to text all the time. Some of y'all are Facebook aficionados. Y'all are Facebook kings and queens. If you can get out there and take all that time to text on Instagram and Facebook and all these other things and live your best life, I ask you, take the time to get you a check register and use those same fingers to just do some adding and some subtracting, making sure your money is right, so that you can go to bed at night knowing I got $100 in the bank. I got $300 in the bank. I got $5 in the bank. Oh, I am at -$2. I need to go make a deposit. Whatever you, knowledge is power. And a check register will help you keep your money right so that you don't have to pay money and throw good money after bad. So I would submit that to you very quickly, trying to move expeditiously so I can keep within my 20-minute window. Now, we talked about checking. Again, go to your bank, ask questions. If you're not familiar with the checking process as high schoolers, it's important that you ask questions. Again, take someone with you that's knowledgeable. You may even want to ask somebody some questions before you get to the bank. That way you will go in there with a little bit of understanding so that you will be able to ask the right questions. And if you have a good banker, they're going to make sure that they talk to you about questions that you haven't even asked if they see that you are really trying to improve yourself and trying to be financially sound. So now I've talked about checking, let's talk about savings. Now, this is the time that you need to develop good saving habits. Many adults, and I'm talking about people who've gone through college and working for years after college, there are many adults who do not utilize a savings account. And in many cases, when they find themselves in situations that they need to spend money or they have an unexpected expense or an unexpected bill, and many times people have to go into debt. Many times people have to take out loans. Many times people have to put things on credit cards. There's a lot of things people have to do sometimes because they don't have or have not allowed themselves to establish the discipline of establishing a savings account. I want to talk to the young people right now and encourage you. Right now, while you're 16, 17, 18, go ahead, start opening your savings accounts. Go ahead and start putting money in there now. And if you can't put but $10, $15, $20 a month in there, put something in that savings account that will begin to allow you to learn the art of discipline, the discipline of saving something to the side. Because once you begin to plant that seed in your mind, it begins to grow. It finds good ground, if you will. And that's a habit that you will continue to work as you grow older. It will work if you work it. A lot of people can't work it now because they never worked it in the past. So if you don't have any savings, and yes, you should have some savings already. That's something hopefully that a lot of parents have started teaching and setting aside even when their babies were babies. But for those people that have not, and I'm talking, I don't know the full class of grades I'm dealing with in reference to age, but I'm speaking to the young people. If you hear my voice, if nobody else does it for you, you have no excuse. Do it for yourself. You are smarter than we ever were when we were your age. You 17, 18, 19-year-olds, you have 30-year minds now. Y'all operate on another level. So go ahead and do what you need to do. Set some money aside so that you can have what you need as things come up. And as you earn checks, as you get financial aid that you may not have to spend on this or that or whatnot, I would encourage you, put it in a savings account. And if you get enough money with any financial institution and if you really got discipline, I would encourage you to do something like buy a CD, something that will actually make money while you don't touch your money, so that when you come back for your money, you have earned more money. And that's what it's about. The older you get, more money, more money, more money. That's what we do, and why we do it, because we're trying to earn more money. So have that discipline. Ask about CDs, even as a high schooler going to college. Ask about CDs. Ask about money markets. Ask about these financial tools that can help you make money by having the discipline not to mess with your savings. Come on, say it with me. I'm going to save money. Come on, let's use your fingers. Use your fingers. I'm going to save my money. I want you to just whisper that in your sleep. I'm going to save my money. I promise you, if you start a savings account now, and then you graduate from college and you look back and have thousands and thousands and thousands, then you're gonna be like, what? It's because you were faithful. Put that $10 here, that $20 here, that $8, that whatever, and it adds up, and you will be surprised. So it's important that you do that. I want to quickly get to that next devil, if I can call it a devil, and that's credit cards. Oh my God. Please, young people, be careful about the credit card solicitations that are going to come at you. They're going to come while you're freshmen. They're going to set up booths in the union. They're going to set up whatever on the plaza. They're going to be waiting on you when you come out the bathroom. There are going to be people trying to get you to get credit cards. I submit to you, if you don't need it, don't get it. You don't need a credit card when you're a freshman. I would submit that to you. I don't feel you do. Now, if you do, I would recommend that you get a secured credit card. A secured credit card means that you have money locked in an account to cover the amount of the credit limit on that card. So that card has got a limitation to it. And even if it's limited, you got money already locked that's going to take care of that card at whatever point that you are on it. That way, you do not get in the danger of maxing your card out and then not ever having the ability to pay it. And in a lot of cases, your parents are paying their own credit cards and they're paying their own bills. And though they are good parents and they will take care of you and they will sometimes pay your bills too, I would encourage you, we're teaching you responsibility. We're teaching you to stand on your own financial legs so that you will be able to make your parents proud. So if you get a credit card, ask them about a secured credit card that you can go ahead and pull money from your savings account. Lock that money in your savings account to secure that card. And now you're not hurting yourself because now you're going to be disciplined not to use that card that much because you don't want to mess with your savings that much. Oh, it's working out beautiful, isn't it? So be careful with the credit cards. And I want to submit to you a couple of things in regards to credit cards so that you'll be mindful of. I need you to make sure that you review your monthly statement every single month when you receive it. Make sure you are looking for that. Don't just throw your mail in the trash. Don't just be like some people, see it come in the mail, throw it on the counter, keep going, and it just stack up. You need to make sure that somebody has not stolen your identity. You need to make sure somebody has not got hold of your card number or hacked your card and is creating balances that you did not create. And if you see any errors that are on your statement, contact your creditor immediately. You need to pay off your balance in full each month and save that money in avoiding paying interest. If you pay your whatever you charge, whatever you buy, have it in your mind when you swipe in that card, this will be paid off before the end of the month. Whatever I got to do. That will save you interest. Interest will keep you out of trouble with your balances because that's where credit card companies make their money is off the interest you pay. So keep your balances low. Pay on time and avoid late fees and late payments. I'm talking to adults too now. Make sure you pay on time and avoid late fees and late payments because that stuff shows up on your credit. The number one thing that can affect your credit score is the revolving debt section. And if you don't handle your revolving debt, being credit cards, lines of credit, home equity lines, that's where they see discipline or lack thereof. So make sure that you are paying those payments on time. Keep your balances well under the limit. Make sure, I hope y'all writing this down because this is good stuff. Keep your balances under the limit. You got a $500 limit. Don't keep it at $499 all year long. Pay that thing down. Pay it off each month. You got to keep using it each month. That's fine, but just keep paying it down. Don't have yourself maxed out. Keep it under the limit. It is suggested by financial experts that you keep your balance at least 30% below your limit. So That way it don't affect your credit score that bad. But you'll always want to try to get it to 0 as quickly as you can. Make sure that you are aware of the interest rate that your cards hold. That's why it's important. Be careful. These high interest rate cards will come after you when you're young, because they know you're not thinking about that. And you'll be out there swiping. Swipers keep swiping, and next thing you know, you will have a 30% credit card paying balances back. That's ungodly. You don't need to do that. So make sure you're paying attention. Ask questions when you're looking at getting a credit card. Carry only the credit cards on you that you expect to use. That's a smart way to keep yourself out of trouble. If you have multiple cards, only take the one you need. Don't have all kind of cards on you, because it's easy to just see something and do impulse spending and just get yourself in debt. Don't let yourself do that. And consider the technologies that you have. This is very good. Consider the technologies that you have available to you via your credit cards, and leave your actual credit card, the actual physical card, at home if you can. The reason why I suggest that is because hackers have developed all kind of technology now. People are being hacked every day. Their debit cards are getting hacked. Their credit cards are getting hacked. And they wonder, how is this happening? I'm not losing my card. I'm not sharing my information. Well, there's technology out there that somebody can just get close to you. If they are in proximity enough to you, they have the ability to just electronically pull your card info onto technology they have. That's why you need to be careful not to have anything on your person that you don't absolutely need. And you need to be careful about certain atmospheres and environments that you move in. Airports and grocery stores are places that these hackers love to hang around. So if you go into these places, be intentional, be purposeful. Go do whatever it is you're going to do. Pay attention to your surroundings. You should be doing that anyway. Pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to the people around you, and get out the way as quickly as you possibly can. Debit cards, let's talk about that real quick. I just wanted to say the same thing about that. Go digital with that if you can. Meaning, get your debit card put on your phone, and have it in your wallet on your phone, or have it in your Apple Watch. Most of you have that. Have it where you can do the tap scenario. I encourage all people, as much as possible, do not type your 4-digit PIN number into anything that asks for that. If you can do it, if you can do the transaction through credit, do it that way. Don't expose your PIN number unless you absolutely have to do it, because sometimes there is corruption at the place that you're trying to do the transaction. So be mindful of that. Go digital as much as possible. It's a little bit harder for people that's got ill intent to get hold of your information when you go that way. All of that is to one end, and I'm at my mark. All of that is at one end for you to have a good credit score. I need you going into college thinking about your finances, thinking about one thing. I want to establish my credit, and I want my credit to be good. Because every college graduate, and sometimes you want it even before you graduate, everybody wants to come out being able to get that car, get that apartment, get that whatever it is that they are wanting to do to show they grown. But I'm gonna tell you now, credit is king. There was a time cash was king. There was a time if you had the cash, you could pull that big wad out, you were the man, you were the woman. But now it's all about that credit. And truth be told, that's what you want it to be about, because that means your name is good. That means you can go anywhere at any time and see something and say, I want that. And and you walk up there and they say, put it on credit. And they'll check your credit and they see you're good. You sign the line, nothing out your pocket, no inconvenience to you. You're handling your business. Well, I submit to you, You can't wait till you're 25. You can't wait till you're 35. You can't wait till you're 45 to be thinking about that. You need to be thinking about that at 15, 16, 17, and 18. Start that financial economic journey now. These simple
All right. So I'm not sure what happened with Mr. Barney, but he did give us some great nuggets. I don't know if he pushed the wrong button and disconnected, but again, just want to make sure that you were listening. He gave some great nuggets about credit, making sure that your money don't burn your hand, discipline, discipline, discipline. So at this time, if you have any questions, we do have a Q&A chat, and there were a couple of questions in the chat. And so we did see that there was a question that Ms. Cattle had that Dr. Thigpen did answer. I've heard students talk about being on probation. What does that mean for students? She's also known students to lose their scholarship and financial money. Can you give examples of why? And so Dr. Thigpen did answer that question just in case you can't see it. So there are two different forms of probation a student can be placed on if it's financial. If it's financial probation, then that would cause for some aid to be put at risk, and she would encourage students to speak with someone in their financial aid office. And also there is academic probation. So that's one of the questions that were there. What are some of the common platforms that we use, Blackboard, etc., in college? And so again, Dr. Thigpen answered the question. Each institution may use different learning management platforms. However, most do use Canvas. And so they would take an orientation course during the summer. I know many of our high schools, especially in Jackson Public Schools, is required for the LMS to be Canvas so that when they get to college, that students are familiar with Canvas and how to navigate it. Where did you find the ACT practice games? So again, Ashley Bryant did leave that email address there on for her at quizme.act.org. And again, this webinar it has been recorded. It will be made available. We will get with technology to see exactly how we will share that information so that those that may have missed it can get this valuable information. And so those were the questions that I did see in the Q&A. I'm checking the chat now just to make sure that I'm not missing anybody. Again, if you registered for this webinar, which you had to register to get on, we will share contact information via email to the registered participants again. And so without further ado, again, we thank all of our speakers. We thank you for hanging in there with us on tonight. We know the time has been well spent, and we really appreciate you. Also, too, we want to turn this right on back over to Ms. Mitchell and close us out with any future announcements.
Thank you, everyone, for hanging with us tonight for our May Week webinar, Are You College Ready? Hopefully you have gained resources, information that can help be successful for any students and family members or parents that are on tonight, to give you some good tidbits and things to put in the toolbox, because our goal is to make sure all students are successful in their higher education journey. Continue to zone in with us as we will be displaying social media tips for higher education scholars on tomorrow. And thank you for joining us tonight. Have a great day.